Good day, my friends. Without Jesus Christ, there's not a single person on this earth that has ever been born that will not try and live this life on their own. And you see, that's the problem. If you try and live life on your own, eventually you will stumble, eventually you will fall, eventually you will sin, you will miss the mark of your life. You see, God predestined it that life will not be easy, and we cannot live life successfully on our own. Even if we think we can, eventually we will stumble. The only way that I got born again was because I realized, I am so weak, I cannot go on. And only if you reach that point, the point of surrender, that's the only time that God will come into your life and that He will start to live His life through you and that you will experience a new nature within you. Otherwise, you will try and please God while you're still part of the old nature, your old satanic or Adamic nature. But you will not be successful. You cannot please God through good works. We had a good friend, beautiful man, nice build, and at one stage he told us, he spoke to me, and he cheated his wife several times, and he cried in front of her, and he promised her, and he said, I will not do it again. Then guess what? A few months later, he did it again. And eventually he was so frustrated with himself. He took his car and at high speed, he just went for a truck. The truck driver saw him coming and he went for this truck and he committed suicide like that. And it was so tragic because when it happened, I realized that he was at the end of himself. He was so blaming himself because the life that he lived, he didn't want to live it, but he couldn't break free. He was under the power or demonic oppression of the enemy and he couldn't free himself. I can still remember one evening, a guy phoned me, he said, Jay, will you please come to my house? And I went to his house. And while there, at one stage, he started to cry. And he came to me and he knelt in front of me and he grabbed my arm. And I could see the tips of his fingers were white because he's a big man and strong. But he grabbed my arm and he cried and he said, Jay, you better help me. I'm caught up. And he named the sin. He said, I'm caught up in this sin, and I know this sin is going to destroy me because I know it's causing separation between me and God. People, that night was the first night that I've realized the tremendous power in sin. And that person was at this point where he discovered he could not make it, he could not do it on his own. People, and if you don't reach that point, you're probably going to try like everybody else, to try and please God out of yourself. Romans 8 verse 2 is talking about a law of sin that we must discover in our lives. In other words, if you want to try and please God out of your own power, eventually you will fail, you will stumble, you will miss the mark, you will sin. And it's going to happen one time, and then it's going to happen 2 times, and then 3 times. And eventually, because you will discover it's constantly happening, you will discover there's a law in me, a law of sin. And you can't get rid of it. People, and it's only after you've discovered this, that you'll realize how desperately you need Jesus Christ. And then He will come with His Spirit and live within you. And only then can you live the life of Jesus Christ, the Spirit of life. You will experience a new law within you, the law of spirit and life, the life of Jesus Christ. And because He that is then in you is bigger than he that is in the world, for the first time, you will live life successfully. The life that you will live will not be sin. You will not miss the mark, because greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. And the things that you can think and meditate about then, according to Romans 8, are the things from above. You can think about God and this life, and Romans 8 is saying that what we will experience then is the peace and the life of God. People, I just want to bless you with this. I pray that you will experience a rebirth, and that God will free you from all deception, because I've seen so many times people, I've seen some of my right-wing friends, people, they think they are saved because they are super religious. But I pray that you will really experience a birth from above, and that God will put His nature in you, and that you will experience that the law of spirit and life of Christ Jesus within you is bigger than the old nature, and that you will know that you'll experience that peace and life, and that you'll know that you're in right standing with Jesus Christ. I bless you in His holy name.